and it's synonymous to Nostradamus.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times musicians predicted the future.
Come with me into tomorrow, I'll drag you to your grave.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most eerily accurate speculations and coincidences made by musically inclined artists. Which of these predictions struck you the most? Play along in the comments. Number 10. Plane Disaster. Lynyrd Skynyrd. Lynyrd Skynyrd was one of the biggest bands of the 70s for immortalizing Southern rock.
Whiskey bottle, brand new car.
Sadly, their signature lineup ended in tragedy just 3 days after the release of their fifth album. A plane crash in Mississippi killed 7 people, including 3 band members. This tragic incident led the band to get rid of art from their new Street Survivor album. Why? Because their original cover art featured the band engulfed in flames. The eerie coincidences don't end there. One of the album's biggest tracks, That Smell, deals with impending death.
Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell?
Moreover, survivors later recounted that singer Ronnie Van Zant was certain that he would not live past 29. He sadly died on that fateful flight.
The smell that's around you. Ooh, that smell.
Number 9. Nightclub Fire. Teodoro e Sumpio. The Brazilian country duo Teodoro e Sumpio has enjoyed a loyal following for their often humorously vivid lyrics. But the 2008 song Pego Fogo na Zona was dark enough when it seemed strictly rhetorical.
Oh, pegou fogo na zona. O sanfoneiro morreu agarrado na sanfona.
The band describes a fire at a nightclub that kills many people, including the band's accordionist.
Sanfoneiro morreu agarrado na sanfona.
5 years later, the group Gurizada Fondagueira was performing at a nightclub in Santa Maria when a fire broke out. Among the hundreds killed was the band's accordionist, Danilo Jacques. Country fans soon connected this tragedy with the lyrics of Teodoro and Sumpio's prophetic Pego Fogo na Zona.
O chefe também morreu no meio da mulherada.
Number 8. President Donald Trump. Rage Against the Machine. Nothing in American politics and capitalism has been far-fetched to Rage Against the Machine.
The world is my expense. The cost of my desire.
Of course, the music video for Sleep Now in the Fire was more prophetic than anyone in 1999 realized.
So raise your fist and march around. Just don't take what you need.
In a dystopian 2000, a Wall Street extra can be seen carrying a sign for Donald Trump's presidential campaign. A year after the video's release, the prominent billionaire actually ran for president the first time. He would later win the election 16 years later. Bassist Tim Comerford also claims that the sign was mainly director Michael Moore's idea. Additionally, the documentarian reminded the band in 2016 that Trump's presidency was possible before he won. Number 7. Cousin's Death. Nicki Minaj. Throughout her life, rapper Nicki Minaj has experienced great hardships. One of her most public tragedies revolved around the murder of her cousin Nicholas Telemack in July 2011. 2 days after his death, Minaj's song We Miss You was leaked online.
Why ain't you have to leave in July? On a peaceful and serene summer night.
Its lyrics describe the shooting death of a loved one in July. Minaj soon revealed that she wrote the song a whole year prior. Although We Miss You is a fictional elegy for a lover, it closely parallels Telemack's shooting death.
Why would they take you from me? Why the doctors could not stop the bleeding?
Minaj later addressed the real tragedy in the emotional tracks Champion and All Things Go. The lyrics We Miss You still remain as shockingly accurate words of a foreboding event.
We miss you, we miss you, we miss you.
Number 6. Online dating. Zapp. The electro-funk band Zapp has always had a flair for futurism. But with the 1980s bringing many novel forms of dating, computer-based courtship may have seemed like a natural progression.
I've been searching for someone.
The 1986 jam Computer Love envisioned a seductive story on a digital platform. After years of techies tinkering with this idea, Match.com launched in 1995. Since then, countless platforms have turned once stigmatized online dating into a popular route to romance.
Digital love, computer love, digital love.
Charlie Wilson acknowledged how ambitious and bizarre computer love was at the time. In fact, the record label almost didn't release it. While that might not have had a difference in the online dating industry, Zapp gave it their credible romantic approval before anyone else. Number 5. Barack Obama finds Osama bin Laden. The Game. The Game is such a devout fan of Barack Obama that he got a tattoo of the president in 2013. Shortly after Obama announced his candidacy in 2007, the rapper gave his first striking endorsement with the Lil Wayne collaboration Hard Times. The lyric opened by hyping Obama as being capable of catching Osama.
I'm feeling like a black Democrat, Barack Obama, the only that can catch Osama.
In 2011, a pivotal event brought attention to that lyric once more. That year, Obama oversaw the operation that led to the death of Osama bin Laden.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
It's still surprising that Hard Times predicted both a presidency and the end of an Al-Qaeda leader.
Mafioso, Ben Frankie on them low pros, drop top Bentley, chromed out semis, $2,000 in popular demand like the first pennies.
Number 4. Shooting. John Lennon. In 1984, the public finally heard Borrowed Time, a plucky ballad about the inevitability of death.
When I was younger.
It was one of the last songs John Lennon recorded before he was assassinated by Mark David Chapman in 1980. But it wasn't the only time Lennon publicly speculated that this would be how he died. Back in 1965, he told a reporter that the Beatles might end with a plane crash or being popped off by some loony. Fans have also pointed to the song title, Happiness is a Warm Gun. Additionally, listeners noted that Lennon whispered "Shoot Me" during Come Together. Ultimately, there's multiple points where the artist seemed to foreshadow his own end. Number 3. His Death and Climate Change. Jimi Hendrix. Two foreboding songs stand out from Jimi Hendrix's eerily edgy songwriting. The Ballad of Jimmy closed with a chant that he would be dead in 5 years. Hendrix always suspected that he would not live to 30 and told a journalist, "I'm almost gone," 2 days before his passing at 27. But what's most shocking is that he did indeed die 5 years after The Ballad of Jimmy was completed. In between, Hendrix made another alarming observation in Up from the Skies. The 1967 lyric refers to a burnt world as a change of climates.
A smell of the world that is burned.
The then relatively unknown science and name of climate change would not be popularized until the 1980s. Number 2. 9/11. Wilco. With a loyal fan base by the early 2000s, Wilco's mainstream breakout with their fourth album came under unfortunate circumstances.
The cash machine is blue and green.
After a record label fallout, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot dropped on the band's website 1 week after its planned release date of September 11th, 2001. Listeners were shocked by its coincidental parallels with the tragic events of that day. Lyrics referred to nationalism, war, and collapsing skyscrapers. The album cover also featured Chicago's twin Marina Towers. Even the title is lifted from the NATO phonetic alphabet for air traffic control. Despite the shocking predictions within the record, the album won widespread acclaim and brought Wilco wider attention.
We'd like to salute the ashes of American flags.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Big Tech. Radiohead. From generic pop music to climate denialism, Radiohead have made some astute observations ahead of their time. The legendary album OK Computer made particularly unique predictions about consumer technology that turned out to not be that radical. Fitter, Happier envisioned a watch that could monitor your health and provide endless entertainment to think for you. Today, smart devices like the Apple Watch are everywhere in modern society. Moreover, the B-side track Palo Alto anticipated Silicon Valley's tech boom about 3 years before Google moved in. These are just the hardest premonitions in an album full of abstract warnings about social regression with technical progress. Given their track record so far, Radiohead's cautionary lyrics may not sound so strange in the future.
This is what you